use of the homograft, in fact, is important because it's a human tissue. The homograft valves have been now in use for many times, and they have actually very good hemodynamic performance because it's a human. The morphology is completely the same for the recipient. There is no need for anticoagulation when you implant the homograft. And of course, on long term, they do a good performance. So now we have experience of more than 25 years of implantation in our institution, and there are no failures of the homografts on long term. However, there is some small group of the patients, very small children, where the homograft is not performing as well as expected initially, but there are some initiatives currently that will probably give the options for the future and maybe give the solutions for category of children between birth and 5 years of age. First homograft in the orthotopic position has been implanted by Donald Ross in London, and it's actually last year was the 50th of anniversary of this operation. Since then, many surgeons have used the homograft, and in 1975, O'Brien in Australia has developed a technique of cryopreservation by use of the liquid nitrogen that we are still using today, that gave a possibility to the surgeons to have available tissues on long term, because by mean of liquid nitrogen, you can keep the homograft very long time. Currently, by the European and American regulation, you can keep only 5 years, but physically you can have a homograft very long time available if the storing conditions are stable. So in 1967, Donald Ross performed a revolutionary surgery, taking the pulmonary autograft and implanting in the left position to replace the diseased aortic valve, and then use the homograft in the right position to reconstruct the right ventricular outflow tract. That became standard surgery for young patient, female patients in reproductive age, and many sport people and very active people, because this operation gave very good results on long term. And now we have the data, for example, of 50 years of homograft implantations, which are extraordinary. So currently we can say that use of the homograft and start of implantation of human valves in the patient was very big and revolutionary development on cardiac surgery. The homografts are, so it means that this is a human tissue. The valves that we are preparing and distributing in many European countries is coming from the donors. It means that the source of those valves that we are processing in our tissue establishment and many other tissue establishments in Europe are coming from the people, either from people dying, having suffered a brain death, or from the people who have developed a cardiomyopathy, end-stage cardiomyopathy, and the heart is not usable anymore, and we can recover the valves from those hearts. So then we make a pool of the valves which are available for all countries from where the donations are coming, and then we will on basis of that pool we will make available the valves for different patients depending on age, body weight, state of emergency, and characteristics of the disease. There is no enough homograft available currently because, of course, the first aim when somebody becomes a donor is to take the heart for transplantation. If the heart is not transplantable, it means that there are some troubles, some problems with contractility, some rhythm disturbances, and so on. then you may not transplant this heart. This heart will be taken for homograft. And then we have to evaluate the valves to see if they are morphologically and functionally acceptable for reuse, for transplantation to the other patients. And currently we are European Homograft Bank in Brussels, is the biggest homograft bank in Europe, and we get about 400 to 450 donations per year from different countries, different European countries. And then we distribute to many hospitals also within the European community, and for some particular indications and situations, we send the homograft also to other countries like in New Zealand or in Hong Kong or in, I don't know, sometimes we send to Slovenia, to Croatia, to other countries which are not having own tissue banking. And but the shortage is very important because we have very big mismatch between the request and the offer. And we are working on it, but there are some countries doing less good in the tissue and organ donation. Other countries are doing better, like Spain, like Belgium, like Austria, Croatia now. They are doing very, very good. For example, Croatia this year is on top of the donations in Europe for organs, but also for the tissues. I believe in the future of the homograft, and I believe that the homograft will remain one of the important sources for treatment of young patients, children, young ladies who still need to get pregnant, because using the homograft you don't need the anticoagulation. And then some persons who are very active or who have to be pregnant later on, they may not use anticoagulation. The homograft remains a very good offer and very good solution for those patients. And I believe that the homograft will remain as a source, one of the important offers for certain category of the patients. However, there is a problem which is now in discussion about the young patient, very young patient, children from birth to 5 years of age, where the homograft deteriorates quite rapidly. And for this category, there are different initiatives today, and one thinks that tissue engineered homografts, it means that the valve that will be washed out from the cells and the matrix will remain, this can be either pre-treated before implantation or implanted like this in the patient. It can give a future, and because it doesn't provoke any immune reaction and the body doesn't recognize it and doesn't fight, in fact, against it. It was first time for me to be in Split. First of all, I'm very happy to have had the opportunity to visit Split, because it's a marvelous city, first of all. Secondly, I met many of my friends in Croatia now, because I have a lot of them, and Professor Biocina, who became president of your society, is one of them, and I'm very happy for him, and I congratulate him, because he's not only, it's good that he became a president, but he did extraordinary Congress, and I congratulate him as well. And I can say that the session about the homograft was very interesting. We had some important discussions, and many of my colleagues from Zagreb also showed that they are going in parallel with the developments in the tissue banking in Europe. And I think the tissue bank, cardiovascular tissue bank in Zagreb, will become one of the leading tissue banks in the region, and will have maybe possibility of helping many other countries, surrounding countries, which didn't develop until now. This to come back to the Congress, I think this is, of course, it's very, your society is very huge, very large, and but getting all together, I congratulate you first of all, and also I congratulate the board of your association, because they have done really extraordinary Congress, and I would be happy to join you again.
Can you mention some of these developments in tissue banking? You said that there have been some serious development in tissue banking that were presented here? Like what?
For example, Zagreb have opened a cardiovascular tissue bank 2 years ago, and they youngest cardiovascular tissue bank in Europe. They have shown that it was a good job that they have done. They have implanted already 12 homografts in the aortic position, mainly for endocarditis, which is very good. And for this region is important because it's first bank. When you see the other countries like I don't know, Slovenia, Serbia, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, there are no cardiovascular tissue banks in the region. And therefore, I think it's a space for this institution to develop it further and to make a collaboration with the other countries, that surgeons needing those tissue in those countries are able to be served by this. And on the other side, we have also spoken about the future developments in the regulation, which is very strict for tissue banks, and I think we are on good way, and we will try to develop it in the entire region to be able to help more patients in this region.